Hi, Cancer. This is Jody with Soul Purpose Tarot. I am in Carmel, Indiana. I am a Libra Sun, Capricorn Rising, Sagittarius Moon. And there is something major going on with you guys, and I really tapped into you last month. I can tell by the views, I can tell by the comments, I can tell by the private readings that I've been doing for you guys. So let's see if I am still tapped in and what kind of information I can get for you today. Cancer. Okay. All right. So the Emperor came out, and then the Hermit came out, and then, oh my God, the Judgment card came out. So 3 major Arcana cards came out first thing. Okay, so what else we got? What else have we got here for Cancer? So the first thing I feel like is like you're just like pissed. I don't know why. So maybe it's like the masculine energy in you, whether you're male or female, the masculine energy in you is hiding out at home because you're pissed about something. And I kind of feel like, in a way, somebody called you out on something. And you're kind of like, you know, like you don't want to believe it, but in a way you kind of do. So I'm like, that's the feeling I'm getting so far, is like somebody called you out on your bullshit and you're like, fuck you, buddy. The Ten of Cups came out in reverse. So maybe somebody called you out on your relationship. Maybe your spouse called you out on your relationship. And you're kind of like, you thought you were doing everything really perfect and on the up and up and above board, and somebody called you out on your bullshit. And so now you're kind of like the Knight of Swords. I feel like I need one more. So you're just like kind of ready to stab somebody, and you're ready to tell them off. Okay, so this is what I'm feeling. The masculine energy in you is hiding out because somebody called you out on your bullshit. And it's probably your spouse, your lover, your twin flame, somebody in your family. It could have even been a kid, because it's the Ten of Cups in the uprights, kind of like the happy ending. So I feel like it's family related. So it's like somebody in your family called you out, and you are like really, really, really wanting to say something back to them. But at the same time, you're like, oh man, if I start pointing out all of their flaws, they're going to start pointing out all of my flaws. And I don't know if I want to go there or not. Sorry. I just find that funny. You know, it's like, and I say this all the time. I learned this long ago when I did the Oneness Blessing. When you're pointing at somebody else and you're going blah, 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 there's three fingers pointing back at you. So I feel like that's one of the reasons why you're kind of like, oh God, do I really want to go there? Because if I do, they could call me out on some more of my bullshit that I have, you know. It's like, I feel like it's coming to the surface. You know that you have, and the Empress. Okay, so the female energy is the one that's kind of flipped upside down. So that matches up with everything that I just said. Whoever's watching this, you could be masculine, you could be male or female, but it's your masculine energy that got called out. So masculine energy usually has to do with ego, obsession with money, working, protective, all the things that men or males are supposed to do. And it's like your female, whoever the female in your life is, called you out on some stuff, and called attention to some of your stuff. And it didn't set very well with you. And it just, I'm like, I have this feeling like you just want to go, oh, but at the same time, you're like, God damn it, she's right. So sorry about that. I think they've asked you to make changes before and you've ignored them. And this time they're asking you to make changes and you're thinking, well, maybe I need to. Sorry. I have like all this energy like coming through and it's just like it's making me like, whoa. I don't know what's going on with me. Sorry. I'm like, and to be honest, I'm doing this on the 24th. Sorry, I thought I had my autofocus fixed, but I can just see it didn't do that, so my apologies. The weekend, that full moon, blood moon, wolf moon, total eclipse, oh my God, it like whacked me out. And now I'm like, finally yesterday and today I started feeling better so I could do some readings, but holy moly. And now I'm like, okay, trusting. So these are some of the emotions that you are going through right now. And so it's like okay, so you're starting to trust your instinct. You're also starting to trust your spouse's instinct and intuition and starting to realize that all of this time that you were burying your head in the sand and pretending like you had it all figured out and you knew everything, it's like all of a sudden you're kind of like going, you know, maybe things haven't really been working out the way I wanted them to. And you're receptive to what your feminine energy, spouse, girlfriend, whatever, has to say. Could be a daughter. Again, this is masculine energy and feminine energy, and it's not in the same person. It's not, I don't think it's you. I mean, your feminine energy didn't call your masculine energy to the rug. So it's like all of a sudden you're feeling receptive to hearing what they have to say and realizing maybe they're right. Lonely in the reverse position. Maybe that is saying you have been spending too much time with friends and not enough time with your girlfriend, spouse, family, or whatever. And that's what I'm feeling there. What other emotions are you feeling right now about being called out on this? I feel like called out on the rug. I think that's a phrase, right? Is that the phrase? You got called out on the rug? That doesn't sound right. Put it in the comments if you know what I'm trying to say. Called to the rug? Called out on the rug? That's way too many. All right, mixed emotions. What other emotions are Cancers feeling right now because they got called out on some of the bullshit? Inadequate. Although I feel like that needs to be in the upright position. You're feeling inadequate right now. I feel like you, in the past, have kind of felt like you had all your shit together, and all of a sudden, someone kind of pointed something out. And it hurt your ego is what I'm hearing, is like your ego got bruised very badly. And you're looking at it going, yeah, God, they're kind of right. Jealous in the reverse position. I don't know. I'm going to have to keep. Jealous means envious, suspicious, and possessive. I don't know how that plays in, actually. Resistant. You've been resistant to criticism before. Now you're feeling embarrassed because you feel a little vulnerable that someone's got you figured out. And you're kind of confused. Why this is bothering you right now. I feel like that's what's going on. It's like you're kind of like, why is this bothering me all of a sudden? People used to say stuff to me all the time and it never bothered me. Why all of a sudden is people calling out my flaws bothering me? Is what I feel like is kind of what's going on here. So let's see what blocks are trying to be cleared right now with this. What blocks is coming up for cancers to be cleared right now? What are the blocks that are coming up for cancers to be cleared? Oh, God, do I want all these? What blocks are coming up for cancers right now to be cleared? What blocks? Okay. All right. So the feeling that I'm getting here is your heart is softening. And that's why it's bothering you all of a sudden, because before it was like you had a concrete block building around your heart. And you were like, nobody can bother me because I'm closed off to the world. And all of a sudden, something's been working at your heartstrings. And it's like, okay, so this is what I feel like. I'm like, I feel like you're of an age that maybe you have a brand new baby or you have a grandbaby and you're seeing this baby in a different way all of a sudden. And it's like that baby is like pulling at your heartstrings and it's like opening your heart up to where it's not been open before. So that's why people were able to say stuff to you before and you just blew them off. You're like, you know what? I'm like, I don't have to listen to your crap. I'm like, I know what I'm doing, blah, 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 blah. And now all of a sudden it's like your heartstrings are being pulled at, your heart chakras being opened, and you're starting to physically feel in your heart and your emotions all of a sudden, and it's very unfamiliar to you. You don't like it. And it's kind of like, and it's new. It's like very new for you. It's kind of like, oh, I've never had these feelings before and I don't think I like them. And you're like wanting to shut them down, and the universe is not letting you shut these down. They want you to feel and have a heart. And this is, I mean, like, this is what feels like is going on. Fresh start. The universe is wanting you to have a fresh start. And because it's in the reverse position, I feel like you're resisting it a little bit. That's still a block for you. But the universe is like going, we don't want you to be a hard ass anymore. We want you to be kind and loving and open. And you're like, I don't want to be kind and loving and open. That doesn't feel good. It's because that's not what you're familiar with feeling. So now it's kind of like all of these emotions are starting to come up and it's like freaking you out. So this also feels like, oddly enough, it feels like you could go to lunch or you have gone to lunch with some of the guys and somebody in your group brought that up of like feeling like emotions all of a sudden that they hadn't felt before. Now, this is what's coming to me. I don't know if anybody watches this, and I probably am going to get the title wrong because I always call it the wrong thing. There's a show on A Million Little Things. And I think I always want to call it A Million Little Pieces. But it revolves around some men who are showing emotions. And I love that show because that's not something a lot of men have been able to do for a long time, is show emotions. And I feel like that's kind of what you're going through. It's like you're with your group of guys and this guy kind of shows some of his emotions and you guys are all kind of like, oh God, this is like new. I'm not sure I want to go there. And all of a sudden you guys are, it's like, I feel like I can see like 4 or 5 of you at lunch and you guys are sharing emotions like a bunch of girls. And it's very unfamiliar and very uncomfortable to you. But here's the good news, bad news. For you, it's going to continue. It's going to continue opening up like that. And eventually, sharing those emotions are not going to be as weird and freaky and painful or out of character or whatever for you. that it's just that's gonna keep happening, and you're gonna get used to it. It's unfamiliar to you right now, but it's going to start getting more and more familiar as you do this. You're gonna start finding your soul tribe. The people that you hang out with are going to kind of start doing this, or you're going to find new people that you can share your feelings and emotions and stuff to, and that's just going to kind of keep going. The cycle, I feel like this needs to be upright. You're starting a new cycle, a whole new cycle in life of kind of, I'm not going to say being a completely different person, but being maybe a nicer person, or just being more compassionate. And like your old ways are coming to a conclusion, and you're going to be grieving for this old person that you used to be. But I think you're going to like this new person that's coming out a little bit better. So I feel like you're going through a metamorphosis, and you're just in very unfamiliar territory right at the moment. And you're done settling with the life that you have had, and you're kind of like, well, you know what? Maybe this is happening for a reason, and being a hard ass all this time has not done me any good. And maybe this new, friendlier version or compassionate version will make me feel better. I also feel like you have numbed emotions in the past, and so that's kind of like you're maybe making an effort to not numb those emotions. And speaking your truth, where before you just kind of kept everything in. You may have said what you thought, but you never said what you felt. And there's a difference. Your reinvention. Yep. You're kind of starting to reinvent yourself. It's being forced upon you. And it's not going to go away. So you can sit there and go, whatever. I mean, it's not going to go away. Once the universe starts prying into that heart space, it just keeps chipping. And the concrete walls are going to start coming down, and there ain't shit you can do about it. There are things you can do to speed it up, but it's not gonna stop. So, okay. Let's see what, this is my sacred power cards. What else does the universe have to say about this? I'm going to call it an awakening, a masculine awakening here that's going on. I want this one. Source. Yeah. Your source is the one that's doing this. Your higher self, your oversoul, your guides, the creator of you, your soul is the one that is doing this. So you don't have any control over what's getting ready to happen. They want you to be open and more loving and more compassionate instead of ego-driven and greedy and materialistic and whatever way you have been for years, that closed off. You're not going to be so closed off anymore. And it's not your fault that you were that way. It's just kind of how society raised you. But things are changing. Things are changing. What else do they have to say about this metamorphosis? Blink. You are divinely protected through this, so don't freak out too bad. And you will still have plenty of abundance, so don't flip out when you're thinking, oh my God, if I have a meltdown, am I gonna like lose my house or something? No. The universe is bringing you abundance in all ways, shapes, and forms. It's just maybe in a different way. So try not to like flip your lid and think that, oh my God, if I have a spiritual awakening and a meltdown at the same time, I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to lose my focus. That's because that's what I feel like you're like going, oh, I don't have time for a meltdown. Oh, that's a fresh start. And sound. Listen to music to calm your soul. Because I feel like that's what you're like kind of like, and you need to like calm yourself down. So listen to some music, listen to things that may be coming through music. You could very possibly get messages through music and sound and meditation and stuff. And so I wish there may be a card for metamorphosis, but I feel like that's what's getting ready to happen. Is a metamorphosis is in the process, and it's all good. It's all good. So just take a chill pill and try not to freak yourself out really bad, because suddenly you're feeling emotions that you've never felt before. All right, I think that's it for now. I will, for those of you who are single, because this doesn't really, I don't think this reading applies to anyone who's single, but if there is anybody single that's still watching this, I am doing some special Valentine's Day readings. If you're home alone on Valentine's Day and you don't want to be, this is for you. And I'll be doing some like blocks of things that maybe you can work on. So next Valentine's Day, you're not home by yourself. And if you have somebody that you've been dating, and perhaps that person and you are not together on Valentine's Day, I'm going to do like some of their blocks too. Maybe blocks to you, blocks to the relationship, or whatever, that kind of maybe things need to be worked on or worked out or whatever between now and Valentine's Day next year. So anyhow, I think that's it. I will see you middle of February. Thanks. Bye.